The following podcast has been recorded by LIM.
From taverns across Chicagoland to St. Joe's Park in Joliet to the world of podcasting, they're upholding the good name of Chet Gunderson and letting the old styles flow. They are the Lovely Intoxicated Men. And this is the Lovely Intoxicated Podcast.
How you doing? What do you hear? What do you say? It's Tony Gabagool, former co-host of the Lovely Intoxicated Podcast, and that's what you find people are listening to right now. But real quick, I want to introduce the brand new co-host of this podcast. He is your friend, my friend, the great and powerful Hot Take Double J. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. Thank you, Gabagool. It's very great to be recognized for all the great things that I have to say and all the things that I have to do. And it won't be easy to take your seat. I'm
gonna cut you off there.
All right, Dan, the former LIM champion. What do you got to say?
I got this. What I have to say is you didn't introduce me first. Hello, I'm a former champion. I used to wear gold around my waist. Not no intercontinental title, not no replica belt, real gold. And this, I just like it because it spins and it's better than all yours because mine glows.
Hey, just look at Mike Madonna behind me, whichever side he's on. He's holding the real belt, the only belt we care about, the RPW Championship.
That's
you can't
true.
See me. That's all I have to say.
We can't see you because you're hardly ever around.
Yeah, where you been? Were you out dropping your EP that everybody could find now? It's a band called Ask. You can find them on Spotify. You can also find them on Apple Music. It's a great EP. There's 4 songs. I like it. I wish they'd improve their microphone a little bit, but hey, kid.
Hey, man, it was recorded in a semi-truck trailer. What more do you want from me?
Yeah, well, it sounded like it, and that's my specific genre of music. If you look at my Spotify Wrapped of 2023, it said most likely to listen to trailer truck driver music. So
most likely to listen to the band Ask, and
that's true. That's everyone's 2024. Not that Taylor Kelsey Swift guy or whatever it is, but we got a band called Ask. Ask what? Listen and find out.
Yeah,
that's
listen. I gotta ask. Since we're asking all these bands and these Ask bands, the band called Ask, I gotta ask you something, Double J. Where's PX? Where's PX?
I told him what time he needed to be here. I said, this is really important to me. It's my first night as, official co-host and all that stuff. And he's not here. He's not on time. I don't know. Have any of you all heard from him? Oh, there's the championship arrived on time, but
he was never punctual. They don't call him punctual, Pat. They just call him Pat.
They just call him
CM punctual.
The champ is here, and he has.
Pat, you're yelling and peaking your mic, and it's like clipping. So, we couldn't hear any of that. But I'm sure you were extremely excited.
So what I said was the champ is here, and the champ has beer.
Cheers, my friend. Happy New Year.
Happy
New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
Oh,
and plenty of new beers.
Oh, it's all foamy now.
Pat, that sounds like something that an experienced champion would not have that problem. That's all I would say. All I'm gonna say.
Well, I mean, I was just trying to play with the new cup holders, not coasters, Dan.
Hey, well, you know what?
And I'm testing them out, and the one thing I've learned is you can't shake it around too much.
Don't shake it.
Don't shake it.
Just stir it.
Unless you got some of this. How am I doing? Hey, how are you?
But here's my question for you guys. What do you guys think of my new shirt?
Looks a little small on you.
Listen, I got one question.
I just ate a whole thing of Christmas cookies, okay?
Would you shop at Baby Gap?
Does it come in gray? It come in gray?
Nah, it only comes in a Tyler black.
Oh. My good friend Tony Babagool Ross knows a lot about the colors.
He does. And this is the Lovely Intoxicated Podcast. Thank you for enjoying our bullshit to start this show. We have a lot to discuss because a lot of things happened at Christmas Chaos and a lot of things are going to happen at Resolution. So here's the thing. What do you guys want to talk about? What do you guys want to start with?
Well, Mr. 1-0, I think you probably are itching to tell us a little bit about this. Okay.
Yeah, as you can see, my workout routine really played into our victory. I stole Matt from the Idolizers AEW title just to showboat a little bit. That is a very heavy replica belt that Matt has. Nani wasn't really happy that I stole it, but that's on her.
That's here nor there.
That's neither here nor there, as Steve says.
Hey, I don't want to talk about him just yet.
All right, we're gonna hold off on.
But
Steve's
I'm not
talk.
the co-host no more, so Double J.
Yeah, it's a real
shut me.
wonder how retirement has been treating you, and just that workout regimen has just gone off the rails, it seems.
It was Christmas. I had Christmas cookies. I did several of the 25 days of beer miss, not every single day. But it will continue at some point. I still have 11 beers left, so that is continuing. I was just dealing with some stuff, so didn't get a lot of time to finish that up, but I will be drinking beer on Facebook Live more, and it'll be great. And Tony Gabagool has magically disappeared for some reason.
What happened?
Big ups to fucking Comcast, bro.
Hey.
Oh, my bad.
Hey, we're not allowed to say that.
We're not allowed to say that.
My
We're
bad.
gonna get
Big ups to
Fuck you.
Comcast.
Oh,
What
man.
what is that?
I was given a censor button from the censor people.
The censor people.
Oh,
Actually, it
okay.
wasn't given to me by them, but I thought they'd approve of it. So,
Well, I mean, if we're censoring our stuff on this podcast,
Hey, should we
then,
while we're waiting for Tony Gabagool to reappear, do you want to test it out real quick?
yeah, I got this one. That's a good one.
I didn't hear it.
yeah, that didn't come through.
I got that one.
My
Wait,
phone literally just shut off.
I blame No Coast.
Damn it,
I
no
blame-
coast.
I blame my mother because she was calling me at the same time.
Hey,
Ah,
Tony Gabagool,
I see.
this is what I think of you.
You're a douchebag.
Thank you. All right.
Anyway,
I'm sorry about that.
back to our discussion of Christmas chaos.
Christmas chaos. So the reality is, I tagged with Johnny Nye and the now retired C-Red against the Idols, and our dad, Flash Harris, he came out, attacked C-Red and Johnny first, and I thought I was next. And Damian gave him his bet. I was pleading because it would not have ended well for me if I got hit with that bet. But the thing that happened was that Flash Harris hit Damian Gray with the bat. I hit a little move that I like to call the LIM bow.
Limbo.
1, 2, 3, and I pinned Damian Gray.
Yeah, you finished the match off with a rock bottom, and I couldn't be more proud of you, my friend.
No, it was more like
in your $500 shirt and everything.
It might as well have cost me $500. That was like $60.
I just can't believe you hit the rock bottom. All these years you've been talking about how much
Then
that
you hit
movie
the
means to
shooting
you.
star press. It was
Yeah, dude,
quite a
I can't
feat.
believe you actually hit the shooting star press. I was joking about that for months, but I can't believe you actually hit it.
Effortlessly.
Lots and lots of practice, boys.
Yeah, it's
Mr.
That's my
Sikora
secret.
would be so proud of you.
Yeah, dude, all that dodgeball finally paid off.
Yeah, because we threw dodgeballs at him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I actually hit Joey Roth. I didn't know if I was gonna hit, and I had good hand-eye coordination, so I was very proud of myself.
Which
And
is a
then-
wonder because you didn't have your glasses on, so I was worried about that.
Well, the thing is, I was in fighting mode, and I knew.
No, he used the
No,
force.
hold on, hold on. Let me wait.
No, let me
Dan.
Dan, let him talk. We'll
trust
get
me
back
on
to
this.
you.
Wait,
Put your hand down.
Let me explain why I
No,
took my
no.
glasses off for the match. Hold on. I have a really good reason why I took my glasses off for the match. I was in fighting mode.
Oh, sorry about that. That keeps happening. I don't know. Maybe they should take me out of the Senate. Anyways, you were saying you were in fighting mode?
I was in fighting mode, and I knew you couldn't hit a guy with glasses.
That's
So-
true.
You could hit Mitch McConnell, but excuse me, what?
I think you hit the dodgeball just right, because you know that scene in Star Wars when Luke is like trying to destroy the Death Star and all that fun stuff, and then Obi-Wan's like in his ears going like, use the Force, Luke, and I think it was like kind of something like that. You used the Force, and then the dodgeball went where it needed to go.
He doesn't
It's
even
true.
sound like that. Like
Because everyone can use the force.
No, why does he
you
sound
just have
like
to try
Mr.
hard enough.
Why does Obi-Wan sound like Mr. Miyagi?
Use the Force.
you're getting
They
your
basically are
80s
the same
movies
person.
mixed up.
Force
Well,
on,
dude,
Force
listen. The grand scheme of Star Wars, Obi-Wan is like it's like he could be the voice to like any person who's like Obi-Wan in your life, man.
Anyway, so yes, Pat pinned Damian Gray. Justice was served.
Amen.
Is there anything else we would like to talk about with Christmas Chaos?
You guys gave me the LIM champion, and I am going to be a fighting champion.
The LIM champion. First off, it's not the LIM champion. You're the LIM champion.
Yes,
it's
I
the
am.
LIM champion.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, and if you don't get it
Look at the
correct,
belt. Look at
we're
the
gonna
belt.
take that belt away.
Oh, you can't.
It's really nice to see that belt on your shoulder and not on the floor under a table, but that's neither here nor
Okay,
there.
you know
No,
what?
no.
I knew
It
that
is
was
here.
okay.
It is here.
All right,
Let's
you
talk
know what?
about that for a second. We, the LIM,
Set the stage. Set the stage. Explain what this is all about.
Well, you don't want to let us
Let you
air our
guys
grievances.
Go. No, air your
Yeah,
grievances.
we'll start- we'll
but
set
we
the
should
stage.
Set the stage. So
At C Red's retirement.
This is a democracy, okay? I'll try not to be this guy, okay?
All right.
I'll try to be good. So listen.
At C Red's retirement ceremony, PX was there, and then a certain photo was posted on social medias by one guy who does a really great podcast on Monday nights and circulated it around showing that PX had put our LIM championship, the 10 pounds of plastic, on the floor, disrespecting the heritage of that championship.
I'm gonna look like Travis. Which way do I gotta go? Is it
You
this
got to
way?
have more hair than that to look like Travis. But that's, again, we're focusing here on PX, putting the belt on the ground, and now we're all upset. We're all upset about it. Dan, you've got something to
Pac-Man.
say. Dan,
It's
take it away.
Pac-Man. It was like
Tony,
a
I'm
slap-
going to have to stop you right there. I passed the mic over to Dan. I am now the co-host. I will get to you in a minute, all right?
I apologize.
You can apologize by zipping it. Dan, the floor is yours.
You're
Pat-
pushing my buttons, kid.
Shut the
Like
Yeah.
I'm wearing
Hey,
a button suit.
All right, thank you. Pat,
Get it.
when I
There
gave
we
you that belt, I told you must respect that belt. All right. And I don't know about you, but I think putting that belt on the ground is kind of disrespectful. And the only times that belt was on the ground when I held it was when Joey Roth was messing with you, and when I gave it to you.
What do you have to say to that, PX?
Wait, doesn't Gabagool have anything to say before I explain?
Yeah, you know
myself?
what? Gabagool, go ahead. What were you going to
Listen,
say? Now the floor
listen.
is yours.
Listen, I got a couple, 2-3 things to say about this, okay? I'm looking like sad boy Pepe Le Poli over here, all right? You put the belt on the floor and tears were falling like it was a Kiss song, okay? Go look up that song, Danny. It's a good song. You and your punk rock band, you need to appreciate the roots of rock, okay? Listen to a Kiss album, okay? Anyway,
A
Let
band
me
called
get back
Ass found
on
on
track.
Apple Music and Spotify.
It's
Yeah,
just
the band
ask.
called Ask.
It's ASK with an exclamation point because we wanted
Yeah.
to be different.
Yeah, I wish I would have known that when I was searching it, but that's neither here nor there. I'm Steve. How you doing? I don't help my friends out. I care about myself. Okay, so Pac-Man, You and your brother, not you and your brother, me and your brother. Sorry, I'm on my 8th beer. Listen, we were crying during your match because you're one of my best friends, one of my dearest friends since the childhood, back to the time machine days, brother. We're going way back. All right, and here's the thing: we were crying. He relinquished his title. We cut a promo. It's in the vlog. Okay, it's canon at this point. And we gave you the title because we thought you were the only one who could hold it. And then you put it on the floor?
You apparently can't hold it, but the floor can hold it pretty damn well.
You will put the LIM on the back seat because you had to go do stuff with your Power Hour pals, and the LIM isn't as important as that. Yes, C-Red's retirement party and roast was very important. Everyone should go listen to that episode. A lot of great jokes, a lot of great things to say. But that there was plenty of room on that table from that picture that was shown. You could have left it on the table, but you chose to put it on the floor. What do you have to say for yourself?
So I actually do have a good explanation.
It better be a good explanation.
How do you want me to go about this? Do you want a work answer or do you want a shoot answer?
I want the answer.
To be my friend again. Just add me back on Facebook. I'm tired of the drama.
We're on Facebook.
All right, fine.
No, we're on Zoom.
We're on Zoom, but
and this will be on
YouTube
Facebook. And Facebook.
And Facebook.
All right, tell us your explanation.
My explanation is simple. So I was in charge of doing a live stream from C-Red's phone, and I had to move back and forth between the Power Hour HQ, if you will, and the podium where everybody was delivering their roasts or speeches or whatever they wanted to say. And I was moving back and forth a lot at that point. So I had set the belt down. But at the same time, as I was listening to people talk about C-Red, even though I did have the belt, that night was not about the LIM. That night wasn't about me. That night was about Grandpa Red.
Right, but you could have at least put it on a chair.
Who we all love very much. So I put it down on the ground. So the attention was on who it needed to be put on that night.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Is Grandpa in the LIM?
Grandpa is in the LIM.
All right, there's my rest of my case. The belt couldn't be presented because he is a member of our group. It wouldn't have been the center point if you just left it on the table or even put it on the chair since you were running back and forth.
You could have put it on the chair.
It wouldn't have even been a relevant thing. You're the one who's saying it would have taken stuff away. Nobody else is saying that. If you just put it on the table and respected the heritage of our group, that's all I'm saying.
Double
Tony,
J,
what do you got to say?
I know that this is your podcast now and that, I've been carried away. I've been out of town for a little bit, if you know what I'm saying. I had to go on a trip down to Puerto Rico, okay? I've been gone. It's the truth. That's why I had to give you the spot, but you also earned it. But listen, now that I know the reason why Pac-Man put the belt on the floor, I can move past it because you were there with Pac-Man and I at IPW a couple weeks back in C-Red's last match. The man means a lot to us. You know what, Pac-Man? I forgive you, and I totally understand why you put the belt on there. It wasn't about us. It was about the man, a legend. I've been watching the guy since I was a little gabagool, okay? I wasn't even a full slice yet. Now, here's the thing. I made this sign for him. Actually, I didn't make it. Tony Babagool Ross did. But here's the thing. I can forgive you. Can you at least do me a favor?
I can.
Can you accept my friend request on the Facebooks?
I have you on Facebook.
Well, because I deleted you because you had the belt on the floor, so you need to add me back.
Oh, okay. All right. I see. Okay. Yep, you're added back.
All right. Should we move on, fellas? I know it's not. I know I'm not the co-host no more, but
I'm gonna let it go. But remember, Pitt, next time you don't put that thing on the floor, you put it on a chair.
Got you.
All right, let's move on here. All right, so with the other things that happened at Christmas Chaos, we have a new intercounty champion. Rion Skills has lost his belt to Joseph Von Jaeger, the man who dove through everything and crash landed into a championship.
I mean,
what are y'all's thoughts on that?
I heard that thud from backstage, and I had no idea what the hell happened. That was insane. I've seen the footage on YouTube. I haven't seen anything like that in a long time at Rocket Pro.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really insane, but it set the tone for Von Jaeger's now title reign as someone who's gonna bring the fight.
Gabagool, I know you're having a difficult time because Rion's your childhood hero. What are your thoughts on
Can
Rion
you just
losing the title?
can you give me a minute? Okay. You blocked me on Facebook.
I didn't
Okay.
block.
And now you want me to talk about this traumatic experience that I had to go through. I don't watch my childhood hero lose his title to David Hasselhoff Jr. Okay. What do you want me to say? He lost his belt. Then he's upset because he lost his belt. And he goes on this tyrant and he's ranting about us not intervening. Dude, I'm a fan. I'm your biggest fan. I got a girl club. I'm the head of the.
You brought that up. And I mean, I think really quickly we need to show people what exactly Tony Gabagool is talking about. So let's listen to this clip real quick.
Hey, Red, I'll do it this way because I mean what I say as far as the shoot. Because normally I put on a gimmick and I have to talk in a calm voice and do all this other stuff. But anyone that knows me knows I don't even fucking talk like that. I do that to appease everyone else. This is like people that know me know how I speak, and that ain't it. So I'm gonna make this very, very clear. My thoughts as far as what took place on that day and afterwards, I'll tell you guys off the air. But as far as this scenario to stay in gimmick, because I know that Steve has things he has to accomplish, I'll just ask a couple of questions to you all and then see how you respond to said scenarios. Is that okay, Steve? You ready for this rapid fire?
Ready.
Wonderful. Okay. Where were you guys when I was getting my ass kicked the first time?
Not where we should have been.
Wonderful. So when you saw the second ass whooping coming, because I know I saw the second ass whooping coming, as I have made it clear that this guy was a bad dude, and he's been a bad dude this entire time on this podcast, on the LIM podcast, on fucking JFW's podcast, and I hope they're listening today. I've made it clear. Maybe this guy has an agenda. Maybe that's bigger than just selling out stuff. Maybe he's taking money and building an army that no one sees just yet. Does anyone actually know how many people are in Undeniable?
It's like watching the ARC run amok.
No, it's not, because at least you know who the fuck the ARC is, because goddammit, Steve, Red will tell you. He'll tell you. This dude's his, he's not. Do you have any idea how many members are in the fuck? See, do you have any idea of how many are in the Undeniable?
No.
Nah. Okay. Keep that in mind for what I'm going to say next. Because I look at it, and this is a question. This is just because, we have multiple main event people on this panel now. Because I can't even make a joke about that based on how this is played out. Mr. Pax.
Yes, sir.
How many people do you have in the LIM?
So there are 7 main guys and probably 8 or 9 wrestlers.
You seem to be okay. Gabagool seems to be a fan of me as well as some of you guys, correct?
Yes.
With you being undefeated and being a champion and being everything else, why did you and your boys come out and help me? Because you already had the numbers. I don't have a fucking army, but you do. Why didn't any of you have to, or did you just need to make sure that you took care of the one fight as opposed to, this thing that's been growing for 11 straight sellouts?
I see your point.
Nobody wants.
I see your point.
I haven't
Nobody
been
got
around.
smoked.
I haven't been around for
No,
11.
that's fine. That's fine. But main event Steve, let's get to main event Steve real quick, because he's walking around with the stain, the chip on his shoulder. Because that's what it is. He needs to make sure that everybody understands the viewpoints and get certain things out of people. So I'm going to ask Mr. Main Event Steve on the day that this took place. How did you feel when I was getting my ass whipped? Because I know you couldn't jump in because management won't allow you. I know that's the case. You have to do your job. But when I was, getting my ass whooped and I was down and out, because this hasn't been the first time I've been down and out in this company. Remember when you and C Red decided you wanted to come out and help me up? When I was getting beat up, when Maximus Orion was there and you guys decided, hey, we friends, we're going to do it. I was like, please don't do it. And then you guys drop me. And then you get on commentary, you say, okay, we're friends, we're going to do this thing. And you see that I'm struggling, you see that everything is going on. You didn't have to be a part of the fight. Why don't you come and help me out? Any other time you go ahead and jump in these multiple battles that take place. What was your feeling when this was taking place?
I will say that I left Joliet Saturday night with a great many regrets. I should have been there and I wasn't. That's on me.
Wonderful. And you know what the one answer that never came out of this entire ordeal between the three of you came out to be? The one that everyone continuously tries to say, especially Maximus Orion? That I deserved it, Steve. No one is saying that except for the people that are in charge, that I deserved it. That's all they've been saying. You deserve this thing that's happening to you. But not one of you have said it. Because you all are slowly understanding. Maybe I'm on to something right now. Maybe I'm not such a bad person. Maybe I just see things a little bit differently and I just don't like dealing with bullshit. Just maybe. Maybe I've been telling you, hey, this is a bad move. This is going to be a problem. You need to fix this. And everyone just kind of, Rion's being funny with his gimmick and everything. Okay, now it's a problem. Now people losing their jobs. While newcomers, because let's put it this way, and I'm just going to just flat out, I guess this is part shoot, part gimmick. We'll go and see how people feel about it. But it comes down to the idea of respect. And this is probably one of the few times that you get to figure out if I'm shooting or not shooting. Okay? Because I'm not going to talk in a calm voice. I'm just going to say this how I normally would say things. Ready? Okay. I have honestly been able to say that I've been a heavyweight champion, that I've held a big belt in a company that was one of the best in the Midwest. Not just Chicagoland area, but in the Midwest. You've worked for them, Steve. I've been able to say I've been a tag champion. I've been able to say that I've been a Midwest champion. I've been able to say I've been a second city champion, internet champion. I've held multiple single championships, multiple tag team championships. I've won multiple tournaments. I've been able to say that I've been in cage matches, strap matches, hardcore matches. I've been able to have feuds. I've won awards. I've done a lot of stuff. But the one thing that is a constant when it comes to this particular company, as well as others, but more so in this one, is the idea of respect. Because the ones that they're going about is Mr. 1-0 and Main Event Steve. Someone like myself, they don't give a shit about. And it's not because I'm a dinosaur. It's because I can break shit down accordingly. The fact of the matter is, why would you want a dinosaur, and I use that in quotation marks, that's able to fight the system when they could go ahead and get people that may or may not be able to go in and want to fight directly? Because I'm going to be honest, both Main Event Steve and Mr. 1-0 have very much a heart aspect. But if it came down to an actual fight, like a legitimate fight where you had to get an army together, who would you not want to see on this particular thing? Mr. Main Event Steve, Mr. 1-0, or the dinosaur? If I had to choose who I need to fight in a war, and this is just long standing, because I'm not sure if you remember how dinosaurs work. They ruled the earth for a while. And I know this sounds like a very, very weird concept, but I've been very, very clear as far as the intentions of things. And just here's a scenario, just think it over. I'm not sure yet, but just think it over, because I've been around. I've seen stuff. This is not a knock to either Main Event Steve or Mr. 1-0. But Rocket Pro created these scenarios. This is something you need to understand. They didn't create a Rion Skills. They created a dinosaur. And the fact of the matter is, especially with how this is playing out, I'm no longer needed. I understand where my role is, and I've understood that for a very long time. But moving forward, the Main Event Steves and the 1-0s of the world are going to understand a very, very, very hard lesson that you need dinosaurs around. Or else you'll be just like everybody else that was extinct at the time of the Stone Age, or the prehistoric age, I have to say. I hope all of this makes sense as far as me rambling on and going about certain things. So now you get to decide if it's a work or a shoot. Have fun, everybody, on podcast. See what's going on for that. But I'm dead serious. I'll go ahead and talk about my actual feelings about things after this is, done. But have fun. LIM's podcast and the what is that? Is it fourth month? Do you guys have issues with the fourth month box still or no? Or is that good? Are we good with
Yeah,
that?
we're still not good. I'm still coming out with a diss track at the end of the year for him.
See, this is why I don't know. This is okay. Then I guess JFW, if they got some stuff to say, that's fine. Just take all of this and run with it. That is my thoughts on the Rocket. Oh, congratulations to Von Yeager, as he is the new inter-county champion. He was just better than me. Flat out. He's just better. There's no way. I tried. I'm old, out of shape. It happens. Feel free to go and say what you need to say now. I'm gonna mute myself. I probably talk too much while looking at this photo of me on the ground, but I'm gonna go back to being silent.
Well, that was crazy.
That was wild.
All right, guys, what do you guys think?
Tony, you start us off.
All right, well, here's what I got to say about this. So I get Rion's frustrations, right? Why did he have to have a rematch with a guy he already beat in the month prior? How does that make sense, right? Damian Saint purposely made this match. How do we know that Joseph Von Yeager isn't a part of the Undeniable, right? Because Rion brings up a good point. How many people are in the Undeniable? JVJ could be in it. We don't even know the extent at this point. How many Undeniable guys are out? Why do you get a rematch after Rion already pinned you the month before? I get your frustrations, Rion. I'm one of your biggest fans, if not the biggest. Okay?
Tony, I have a
Hold on,
Hey,
Dan.
hey.
Let him finish. We'll come back to you. Save that thought.
As I said, Rion, I'm one of your biggest fans. I'm working on the weight issue. Okay. I'm trying to lose the weight, so I'm not the biggest fan no more. I want to maybe, cut like 10, 12 pounds, but, the beers keep coming.
All right, Tony, let's get to the point here.
Well, here's the point. Rion, I still love you despite everything you said. And listen, if you need us in a match, train me. Train Hot Tub Time Machine Double J. We can come into a match with you.
You can train me.
We
too.
can help you. We can be your backup. LIM's got more members than the NWO at this point. Danny, how you doing?
My question was, how many members are actually in the LIM?
I did a count before we came on. We are up to 18.
That's a small, look, that's a small army. Like, if the British were to invade and we were to have like a bunch of muskets, I think we'd be able to hold our own.
We could defend St. Joe's Park like they defended the Battle of York.
Well, yeah, that's not a doubt. They eat beans and toast. They're not known for their drinking. They're not known for their culinary stuff. They're known for their bad teeth and bad taste.
They have beans in the morning. Like, what a bunch of idiots.
Yeah, beans in the morning. Heinz?
They're going to be farting all day.
That's crazy. But back to the point. Rion Skills, you did lose your championship, and that's sad. You can't expect us to like hop in the ring and help you every time. We made a promise to check Gunderson that we wouldn't get involved in in the matters that go on in the ring. So, I mean, don't call us out for that, because we made a promise to a man. We're not people who break that promise.
Exactly.
We're men of morals.
Yeah, and like Tony shared as well, we're not trained. You're asking for us to come and help you when the undeniable attack? Like, you go handle what you have to handle, because your problems are not necessarily the LAM's problems or even my problem. I'm an untrained wrestler. I'm just a fan who wants to go to these shows and watch stuff. Maybe you need to go do some of your veteran stuff, politicking in the back, to get some of the boys in the back, the real talent, to help you out with this. You don't know how many members are in the undeniable. You've been in this business for how long, and you're not able to see the words between the lines and know who things are? Go do your stuff. Don't worry about a bunch of untrained people coming to your back. Well, go find the people that you say will show up in an alley in a fight and do stuff. Well, we can all hold our own. We've all been in a few bar alley brawls after a couple of drinks, and some bottles have been thrown, some skulls have been cracked. You don't know what good old Double J is capable of, buddy. And if you want to find out, drop a line. And if you don't have my number, then forget about it.
But here's the other thing that we got to talk about too. The segment of what Rian had to say, where he talked about not being needed, about how management, even from ownership, seems to view Rian as a dinosaur. What do you guys think about that piece of what Rian had to say?
If I could take the lead on this,
go for it.
I've watched the Jurassic Parks movie. I know that this is a booming franchise. Listen, Mr. Damien Saint, minion loving meme guy, you gotta listen to this guy, Rian. Jurassic Park, you're calling him a dinosaur. Jurassic Park can make you a lot of money, man, and you can fill a lot of seats. Okay, one of the top grossing movies of all time, besides Titanic, but we're not talking about that right now. This is not a sinking ship. This is Dinosaur Park we're talking about. Jurassic Park. Dinosaurs are in right now, pal.
Yeah, and I mean, you talk about being a dinosaur and having all these things. There are a lot of great dinosaurs, your definition of a dinosaur in this business, that makes me wonder what you're lacking that others have. I think of Edge. I think of Christian. I think of Billy Gunn. All men well past their prime, still in great shape, making big names for themselves and doing great things in wrestling. Sure, they're on a much grander stage, but with the amount of years they all have in the business, they would meet that definition of being a dinosaur. So I would say you need to take a look in the mirror and see what is the difference between you and them.
That's a great point, Double J, because this guy right here on my screen, he's my champion. He's my hero, my childhood hero. But my adulthood hero is PX. Would you please add me on Facebook? Thank you.
Again? I thought I accepted you.
He kind of got a little upset and blocked and deleted you again. He's going through a tough time.
Clearly,
Rian losing his championship has kind of spiraled, Tony.
We're good. We're good. You can't unblock. You can't block me for 48 hours. So
perfect.
Hey, Dan, what do you think of all of this?
I think that again, it's like one of those things. Rian can't expect us to like.
No. As far as we've already talked about that. The bit where Rian had said that management views him as a
As a
dinosaur.
Oh,
But remembering, who do you want to go into battle with? Do you want to go into battle with me?
you
Do
know,
you
I'd
want to go
rather-
into battle with Steve? Do you want to go in, or do you want to go into a
no.
battle with a dinosaur
Oh,
that used to dominate the earth?
If I were to like go into any fight, I would have a wrestler who's got multiple decades of experience in fighting people for a living, mind you, in an alley fight any day of the week. That man knows more about what the person's going to do next than any other person. I wouldn't want you behind my back, Pat. No offense, but I mean that you can hit a people's elbow pretty good, but
I hit a
It's the rock
stunner,
bottom.
and I hit a stunner.
yeah,
It
you
was
gotta-
a rock
stunner was
bottom.
pretty cool too, right?
The rock's bottom. He was hitting the rock's bottom with
No,
his
I
hand.
guess
He said, Dwayne Johnson, can I please hit your bottom?
Yeah, but
Thank
to
you.
your point, Danny, there'd be a long list of people that I would take in a fight before I would pick you up, Pat.
I
And
mean,
that's the truth.
the one thing that, like,
You know what though? I can
like,
understand.
hold
Hold on,
on.
I'm gonna cut you
Or-
off. I can understand why they would pick. Someone would pick Pat in a fight though. He's loyal. You know that he's gonna have their back.
Well, I mean, I'll let Pat say, but the one thing I'll say is that I would pick Pat just if there was a lot of people and I needed to divert my attention elsewhere and kind of let him take some of the force while I handle some other business. Pat, but
Appreciate
back
that,
to you.
Double
What do
J.
you? Yeah, I'll let you get your butt kicked and then I'll come in and save the day. But what were you gonna
hot
say?
tag, baby. What I was gonna say was the one thing that stuck out to me is about how Rion had said about all the weird stuff that's happened in Rocket Pro, about all the weird things that have gone on since he's taken power. And I know we're going to talk about him a little later, but it ties into what Rion had to say. Now, the one thing that stuck out is that he kept bringing up Main Event Steve and Mr. 1-0. And that, in a way, like, Saint had a reason for putting Steve and I into the positions we've been put in over the past year. And even though, like, I got to, live a dream that not many people get to live, I feel maybe I was used
Oh yeah, you were.
for some ulterior motive. And I think when Rion raised the bell about everything that has been going on in Rocket Pro, and that was when he hit Maximus Orion with the belt, and I know a lot of us didn't agree with it, but the biggest thing he said is that they're going to take his company and everything that they've built. And I feel at the same time as I watched Maximus Orion, dress him down after the show, we all saw that promo. I think that Maximus Orion still isn't heeding what Rion's been saying, things that he's seen before in the business. And I think Maximus Orion, as a friend of mine, I think he should listen to Rion a little more, because I think a fan was put into a match in his own company. That should raise some alarm bells right there. So Steve talked about how he didn't want to be called Mr. 1-0 anymore.
No, he wanted to not be called Main Event Steve.
Oh,
You're
I
Mr. 1-0.
am one-
Steve has lost a lot. We've seen that at IPW.
Yeah, unfortunately, he put those trios titles on the line at IPW, and I still question that decision.
Boneheaded decision.
It was not a wise decision. In a four-way match, in a 4-man or an 8-man tag match.
A lot of men in that match.
I think what C-Red had to say regards to the Power Hour in JFW doesn't necessarily apply to LIM, and that's just me kind of still questioning Steve for putting the IPW Trios Championships on the line against the big leagues. But
Wait,
anyway,
JFW doesn't apply to LIM?
No, so
What about
the
my Travis
condition,
T guy?
the condition for
Turtle is in LIM.
the condition for C-Red to stay on the Power Hour despite his sabbatical was that JFW and the Power Hour needed to get along. Right now, I'm just providing constructive criticism. I'm not calling names. I'm not doing anything like that. But Steve, I still highly disagree with what you did at IPW. But
Interesting.
that's besides the point. The point
Who's that guy?
The point is, we've been put in a lot of weird positions, and Damian Saint has a reason for all of it, and it's just a distraction and a ploy for whatever it is he's planning to do at Rock Pro. I used to laugh him off. I used to not take Damian Saint serious, but the more that I really sat and I thought about what Rion's had to say, Saint is a politician, and he has reasons for doing everything. He's playing 4D chess with all of us. I mean, let's think about it this way. When it comes to us and Steve, there was a big disagreement between the LIM and Steve when it came to what happened with me and how he didn't, as you guys said, saw that. Didn't come to my defense.
Steve put us on the map. I think Saint kind of drove a wedge between us, right? And he was putting Steve in a position where he couldn't intervene in your match, right? He couldn't come to your aid. He couldn't leave the announce table, right? But Steve really helped make the LIM who we are, right? I'm over here chanting Blue Chew for a promo for an episode we did on Power Hour, right? Steve made us.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said about the things that Damian Saint is doing, but I think we can get to that little bit later on with the announcement of the co-GM and stuff coming up at Resolution. But there's a lot of other stuff happening at Resolution that we also need to shed some light on. So if you all are ready to do so, I think we can.
But before that, I think Tony Gabagool has a sponsor of this episode.
Well, before you just rudely interrupted me, that was what I was going to lead into. So
Pat, he's the co-host now.
Yeah,
Shut up.
Yeah, Tony, go ahead. What is this week's sponsor?
Listen, did you eat too many M80 bites at Resolution on January 6th at St. Joe's Park in Joliet?
We haven't, because it hasn't happened yet.
Listen, Pat, this is Tony's time to give the promo for the sponsor. So, Tony, take it away. I'm sorry for all the rude interruptions.
Hypothetically,
Pat, just remember, please do not interrupt Tony again.
I am muted.
That was an example of an interruption. Don't do it.
You're cute when you're my Facebook friend, but when we're not Facebook friends,
all right, Tony, I'm going to have to interrupt you again. I'm doing too many of these. I even said we're not going to do it, but please, back to the sponsorship for this week.
I want to tell you folks about our sponsor. So maybe you eat too many M80 bites at Resolution on January 6th at St. Joe's Park in Joliet, or maybe you have too many old styles, right? Maybe that's something that we do all too often. But listen, I got a product for you. It's the sponsor of this episode. It is the Heart & Bauer Heartburn Chew tablets that you can find exclusively at your local Buc-ee's gas station, okay? These Heartburn Chew tablets can help if you take a chop to the chest, or you have 18 old styles, or you have 42 M80 bites. Listen, if you buy 2 of them now, you'll save 12%. Go over to your Buc-ee's and buy a package of the Heart & Bauer Heartburn Chew tablets. Thank you.
I've tried those before. There's at least a 3 3/3, 55% chance that it will cure your heartburn. But that's also a great segue into the first match at Resolution, which is the tag match between those damn Coyotes, Brooks Berna and Damian Deshane, against Bucky Collins and Hartenbauer. What are our thoughts on that match? Pat, send it over to you.
So, I mean, what is there to say about this match? I mean, the TDC is falling apart as the seams, and Hartenbauer and Bucky, they're both, on the rise, even though Hartenbauer couldn't beat Connor Hopkins for the Outer Limits Championship last month. It's they're two guys that hate the TDC more than anybody else. So that's the biggest factor, is just all these divides within TDC, and where everybody's head's at, especially with as brutal as Christian Rose has been.
I would have to disagree with you there. I think this is a perfect time for TDC to show they are on the same page. It's really just Christian Rose, the head, so to speak, of TDC, that has been causing a lot of dissension amongst the group. Every turn, Brooks, Damian, and Connor have all been there for each other.
Now,
I think this will be a great opportunity for them to unite, but Bucky Collins knows how to play those mind games and get under their skin, and you can't overlook Hartenbauer. He's new to Rocket Pro, but he's made a name for himself all across the Midwest. He's a tough dude.
Now, let's think of it this way. The last time that Brooks Berna and Damian DeShane teamed with each other was back in September, when they defended the Rocket Pro Wrestling Tag Team Championships against the final level. Now, in that match, Christian Rose got very, very involved in that. And who's to say, and cost him the championship. Now, who's to say that that could be the case with this match?
It very well could be. It could happen, but this is also a great opportunity for, I think Berna and DeShane are going to be wondering if that's going to happen, and they're going to have their head on a swivel. And I'd also wouldn't put it past them for what potentially is that next match, which is Christian Rose and Connor Hopkins for the Outer Limits Championship. Who's to say Damian and Brooks won't interfere in that match and attack Christian Rose?
Tony, what are your thoughts on Christian Rose versus Connor Hopkins?
Well, here's the thing. I've been on Windy City Slam for the past 2 months, recapping Rocket Pro Wrestling events. And both times I said that this man, where's my hand? How do I get my hand?
You got it right.
You're pointing at Connor Hopkins.
Connor Hopkins. I said that this man had the match of the night. Now, I spoke for myself. I didn't speak for all of LIM or any of the other fans, but that was personally what I told Mike Pankow, is that I thought that Connor Hopkins put on match of the night 2 months in a row. I expect him to do the same thing again at Resolution.
Absolutely. Dan, what are your thoughts on this match?
I mean, Christian Rose is just a fantastic wrestler and that, but I'm a Connor Hopkins fan. Connor Hopkins is just the better wrestler. He's got
But you got to really factor in, too. What do you think of all this TDC drama that's been happening with Christian Rose showing a more vicious side of himself and taking that side of itself out on members of TDC? I mean, we all saw the submission match with DeShane back in November and everything with Brooks Berna at the Miracle on 34th Street fight last month.
Yeah.
We've seen a different side of Christian Rose that we haven't seen.
He's definitely gotten more aggressive and whatnot, but I'm going to have to go with Hopkins on this one. I think he's going to walk away with the belt, because I feel that TDC definitely has his back, and, they see that Rose has been just a thorn in their side since, he's been attacking them. The hostilities between them is just so high. I feel like TDC is definitely going to have Hopkins back during this.
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe a swift super kick from Connor Hopkins will knock some sense back into Christian Rose.
Yeah, I mean, those guys had his back.
I'm going to skip around in the notes a little bit, and we're going to also talk about the 2-on-1 handicap match between Devin August and Skylar Reed, Kings of the Six, part of the Undeniable, versus Gunner Brave.
I mean, as much as I like Gunner, I don't think he's winning that one.
I mean, let's talk about it this way. Tony and I, the first Rocket Pro show we attended there was a face-off between Skylar Reed and Gunner Brave. It was one of Gunner's first feuds in Rocket Pro. So there is a lot of history between these guys. These guys know each other pretty well. Tony, what's your thoughts on a revisiting of Skylar Reed and Gunner Brave 4 years later?
I think that Gunner has really come into his own, right? He's shown us last year he put on some crazy matches. This guy will go through tables. He will go through barbed wire. I think he can go through these two jabronis like nothing, okay? Let's not all forget, this is Gunner's house, okay? We're not going to let two neighbors from the north come in here and try to take this house. This is Joliet we're talking about. This is Gunner's house, the house that he built. I look to see Gunner come out in a very aggressive fashion and take out both of these Canada on strike boys, okay? I'm not your buddy, pal.
Go ahead, Dan.
I mean, he's got. Yeah, I mean, he might come out aggressive, but how aggressive can you be until you've gassed yourself and then, you got two guys beating you up, kicking your ass. I mean, it's the numbers are just against him. It's very hard to go against two other, it's normally 1-on-1, right?
Normally 1-on-1, it's a 2-on-1 handicap match, but the biggest thing too is it's not, when you really think about it, it's not just 2-on-1 because there's so many other members of the Undeniable.
That's also true. But also the thing you guys
how
are
they going to get into? How are they going to come into play?
Is
J-Beck going to be at ringside for this?
There's another thing you guys are forgetting about is at the past show, Gunner said he needed to take some time off because he's hurt. He's battling some injuries. I think Gunner can pull it off, but I also have to question, where is he at? Is he going to be at 100%? And is that 100% going to be able to handle the Kings of the Six that are a very formidable tag team, a very fast-paced, a very aggressive tag team? That's something that I'm thinking about. I want to pull for Gunner. I hope he wins. But with the undeniable factor, with J-Beck potentially being at ringside, 2-on-1, coming off of who knows what injuries and being banged up he's been dealing with the past few months, is he going to be 100% heading into this match? And who's going to have his back? And a few of the other people that would have his back are in matches also later on. Are they going to put their health at risk?
And speaking of those two people, they're both in a #1 contenders match for the RPW Championship because Eric Schultz and Steve Michaels will be facing off in a fatal 4-way match against Shaq Jordan and Koa Laksamana in a #1 contender match
for the RPW title.
Now, I think for me, I just keep seeing Steve Michaels and everything that he's been able to do against Lennox Leone and everything he's been able to do this season. He's been dominant.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
I think his power, that bear hug, there is no one that's been more dominant in RPW this season, arguably, than the Chicago bear hug.
But I feel like the other guys in that match are going to recognize, the pure force that is Steve Michaels. And they're going to have to team up on to get him down, to make it a fair fight for the three other contenders. I mean, because Michaels is just gonna, he's gonna wreck shop otherwise.
But is it really gonna be a fair fight? You got Eric Schultz, another member of the Undeniable. Who's to say Steve and Eric won't team up to take on Shaq and Koa?
But then when you look back at Devin August and Eric Schultz back in November in the Rock to the Top briefcase, they went back and forth
they weren't really on the same page. Is Eric going to go into business for himself and try to seize another opportunity to get at that RPW championship? He's a very smart individual. The man's a lawyer. He knows how to read a room. He knows how to draw up a contract that might be in his favor in this match. But then we're also Koa is a man who's been on a tear.
Don't forget about the Red Wave Army, okay? Not to mention, we also have a generational talent in Shaq Jordan.
Correction, Tony Gabagool, Light Slayer, Shaq Jordan.
Okay, yeah. And he was also on Windy City Slam, who, if you haven't listened already, go check out Windy City Slam.
I heard he does security on the side for Mustafa Ali.
I mean, the guy's got connections. I don't care about Eric Schultz. He's a lawyer, okay? But I think that briefcase is empty. I wouldn't hire him to get me out of a jam, okay?
And I mean, I feel for this match, Koa Laksamana is going to have a lot to prove. I mean, he's been in multiple multi-man matches, and seemingly the numbers have
come against him. So you got to wonder what Ko is thinking going into this match.
Is it peculiar that we have two undeniable members in this match? Because when I first saw this match announced, I just rolled my eyes. I said, come on, Damian, what are you doing? But I think it's pretty obvious what Damian's doing, right? He's stacking the cards against the other talent. He's using the undeniable against the rest of Rocket Pro Wrestling. It's just terrible.
I mean, the one thing with Shaq Jordan, too, out of all of these men, he is the one man that has had Rocket Pro Wrestling title opportunities 2 months in a row. And now he has to go back and try to fight and become a number one contender once again.
But then the same could be said with Quinn Whittick. He was just in last month's title defense, and he's made it very clear that he wants that title back, and he's shown up and he's put out. Why isn't he not in this match to try to get back at it? I mean, no offense to Eric Schultz, but what has he done to, earn this title shot other than being in the undeniable? I feel like Quinn is getting overlooked in this opportunity.
Wrestling is a business of connections and politics, and we all know it. And when you're in a group that's led by the general manager, of course you're going to get more opportunities than the rest of the roster. But speaking of, people in the undeniable getting opportunities, the Ryan Matthews is going to be going for the Inter-County champion by Joseph Von Jaeger and Jesus Desafio. JVJ is walking out with the belt.
Yeah, look at that chiseled jaw. That man is handsome. He is talented.
Have you listened to his theme song?
Have you seen that workout montage?
Yeah, goes hard. That guy is walking out.
He drank eggs. I didn't even drink eggs in my workout montage.
No,
but we also
I didn't even drink eggs in my workout montage.
That's true. You curled old styles, but we also cannot look past Jesus de Safiro. He is a very formidable opponent. Also, Wrestle League champion currently.
That's right.
He beat Quinn Whittick for that opportunity, and that's no small feat.
Nope. And I mean, I remember the one match he had with him back in August and came very, very close to winning the title. So we know how hard he can fight.
And he almost won the opportunity that Joseph won to face Rion for that Intercounty Championship. He was so close to being number one contender.
Tony, you keep looking like you're on Cody Rhodes' Cody Vader, going up and down the Cody Vader. What do you think about this opportunity?
Well, there's a lot to think about. What really strikes me is, again, Damian Saint taking one of his undeniable, trying to break up a friendship of these two guys, because it's known that these two guys are friends outside of the company, outside of any promotion they're working with. They put out a promo, they addressed Damian Saint, and they said, hey, the belt's on the line. This is a triple threat match, but don't you think for 1 second, Damian Saint, that you're going to have this wherever he's at, this pretty boy, you're going to have him drive a wedge in their friendship. And that's what Damian Saint tried to do to the LIM with Steve, all right? Trying to drive wedges into friendships. I think the victor of this battle will be one of these two righteous men, okay? It's not going to be the Ryan Matthews. Take your head and go elsewhere, pal.
That's a very good, interesting point you made, Tony. But speaking of Damian Saint driving a wedge between friendships, we have to talk about this next match, which is Aaron Stone versus Maximus Orion for the RPW Championship. Two friends who have been at each other's backs, taken on the undeniable, are now put in a position where they must do battle. Where Maximus has gone on record, if you watch his Twitch channel, Sling Blade, over there on Twitch, he's talked about how he is very prepared for the undeniable shenanigans, but on the most recent Rocket stream down Fortnite, that Aaron Stone said, hey, don't look past what's in front of you because he's coming to fight. And they are good friends, but that's going to be a brawl. And I have to question, is Maximus locked in and ready to go for this match, or is he going to be too worried about whatever the undeniable is going to do and miss out on this opportunity that's been put in front of him?
So the one thing I will say, because I was watching the Sling Blade Twitch stream today, and Maximus was talking about the diet that he's on to prepare for this match. I mean, he is taking this very seriously from the sounds of it. But I think, even going back to that Rocket Pro stream, he's very hesitant.
Yeah, he's very hesitant, but he is the heir, and this is his time to
And the
ascend to
son.
the throne. Exactly. This is his time to ascend to the throne of Rocket Pro and become a champion. But
Baby LaGreca just loves that his theme song was actually on the soundtrack for The Wedding Singer. Baby LaGreca just gets a kick out of that. Every time I put on that Sandler movie, he's like, Dad, can we listen to Maximus's theme? I said, don't worry, son. I can put it on replay with the little one sign in the middle, and it just keeps doing the same song on a loop. Thank you.
yeah, but we've talked a lot
Thank
about
you.
Maximus, but what about Aaron Stone, who's gone to bat on some very formidable matches this season so far and has come out the victor? He just
And
took
look-
on Shaq Jordan and Quinn Whittick in a triple threat match and came out the victor.
Dan,
I-
you're
I-
wearing a MILF hat. What do you think about this?
I am wearing a MILF hat. My thoughts on this are, these are, they're two friends going at for, friendly competition over, the belt. Obviously putting, to drive a wedge through. We've all been through it. We've been over it. But I think it's going to be one of those things where Aaron Stone just, I think he's going to walk out with the belt. He's going to retain, they're both very, very good wrestlers, but Maximus seems to have some things that he's holding on to, obviously, you want to preserve the friendship and all, but at the same time, you want to walk out with the gold. And I don't think he has it in him to walk out with the gold.
Two things. One, I thought Smiley McGee was here with all the knows coming around. Second, the other thing I want to say is let's not forget what Aaron Stone's nickname is, right? He's the Dream Breaker. He might crush Maximus's dreams, okay?
Tony, we've been agreeing on some stuff.
I think we should hang out. Maybe you could buy me a beer or two or three.
Yeah, maybe you should listen to my mixtape again.
I already did. I like to, all right, what else we got?
We got another championship match.
The main event, in fact. We have the final level, Marche Rocket and Shogun versus Death Grip of Acid and Paulie Tomaselli, Rocket Pro Wrestling Tag Team Championship. Now, I sent you guys some notes earlier today.
I got Acid. I'm gonna go over it. Let me list some achievements for Acid right now. Acid right here, former LWF champion. He has had prior matches with Grin and Machine of the Three Rings in the past. He's a former Dreamwave World champion, not a championship. He's not a walking belt, but he's a walking champion. All right. And he's also had matches with Mustafa Ali, CM Punk, and Sabu. He's wrestled in companies such as Elite Pro, CSW, and Dreamwave. He's an all-around talent. He knows what he's doing in that ring. All right.
He also looks like he's a wizard.
He's got wizard-like qualities.
He does have
a weakness to lights attached to poles, though. He usually doesn't see them coming.
If I were to say any better, that guy's a fucking wizard.
I'll allow it.
You're a wizard, Harry.
But then you also have to look at his tag team partner, Paulie Tomaselli, who's one half of Hardcore Impact with Hardcore Craig, who has had a lot of formidable opponents in matches such as Claudio Castagnoli, Matt Sydal, Eddie Kingston, Ricochet, Seth Rollins, the Young Bucks, and the Dudley Boys, among many, many others. He's had a ton of tag team success, multiple-time tag team champions all across different companies. He's a two-time POW heavyweight champion. He's also wrestled in POW, CSW, Pro Wrestling Blitz, Juggalo Championship Wrestling. He's been featured on TNA, Elite Pro, CZW, Chikara, and so many more. But also, the most important factor, he has defeated both Shogun and Marche Rocket in singles competition before, so he knows these men. He knows how to beat them. That has to be a factor into this match, even though the final level have been on a tear and are those endgame bosses that no one can seem to get anything over on. Pat, what are your thoughts?
I mean, this challenge was made back in November. The calculation was that it was going to be Hardcore Craig that was going to be teaming with Paulie, but Acid has kind of seemingly thrown a wrench. You got a multi-time world champion in the midst with Acid. You have a guy with lots of years of experience, a guy that's been up and down the roads and has worked with some of the best people in this industry. And, that's true for both of these guys. That's true even for Shogun and Marche Rocket. You have a lot of guys with a lot of experience in this match. But I think really at the end of the day, this X factor is the fact that Paulie knows Marche and Shogun and has defeated them before. So he knows, like you said, he knows them. Gabagool, you wearing sunglasses right now. What do you think of this?
Well, when the sunglasses are on, I wear my sunglasses at night, whatever the song is. Listen, here's my take on this.
What are you talking about?
Are you talking about the stars are bright?
Deep in the heart of Texas. Oh, wait, easy there. We're one step away from, I think Santino sang that to the Idols to celebrate.
What do you mean?
I agree. But you were saying Tony Gabagool?
I'm so undecided right now. I got to go with the hometown heroes. Part of me is saying Shogun and Marche, what they've been able to accomplish together. They've run through so many tag teams in the last few months. Just look at it. It's truly impressive. But these two guys that are coming with the death grip, they're not your traditional Rocket Pro Wrestling tag team. You guys have talked about all their accolades, and like PX said too, don't forget about our hometown heroes, the final level. They have their own accolades, so we can't forget about them. I think no matter what happens, every fan in attendance is going to be treated to a hell of a main event, and I think we're all winners at that point. I'm undecided. I'm going to leave it at that.
Dan, you have a Tim Allen button on your hat. What do you think about this?
It's actually his mugshot, but I'm a big fan of the final level. I mean, come on. Yes, you got 4 veterans in that ring, but it's the final level. I have 2 syllables for you. Shogun.
Yeah. Yeah. I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, and Marche Rocket, he's also very good, but I'm a big Shogun guy. He's one of the best in the area, if not the best in the area.
Don't forget, we got the M80 bites.
He does have M80 bites, which
from the same place that brought you the Chuck Gunderson Hobie mushrooms. We got M80 bites.
Captain Dave's galley. Put some respect on Captain Dave.
I believe, if I remember correctly, they are pizza bites dipped in buffalo sauce with a blue cheese dressing.
Or ranch dressing if you don't like blue cheese.
That does sound very good.
You know, back in the joint, they used to call me ranch because I was dressing. How you doing? Anybody?
Okay, what's next?
Anyway,
the next one.
So we also have at this show, we have the introduction of who the new RPW co-GM is going to be.
Oh,
now,
God.
What are all of your thoughts on this? Does Damian Saint need a co-host?
No.
Does he need a co-host? Does a bear shit in the woods? Come on, Hot Take Double J.
Yeah. Oh, hold on. I gotta use this thing. Yeah. Does a bear in the woods? Huh?
Dad, you said he doesn't need one. What are your thoughts there? Start off with you.
Standing room only.
Okay.
3 words. And after watching what he's done for RPW, I mean, he's put how many standing room only shows? I mentioned, but he also put my brother in a match, which is one of his lifelong dreams. And, I have to respect the man for that, giving my brother that opportunity, that no one else really kind of gave him. Now, he would have never gotten that anywhere else, but Damian Saint saw something, so.
Tony, you look like you got something to say. What's on your mind?
Literally one word. One word is all I have to say about all of this. One freaking word. One word to describe my emotions.
Well, you've said one word a whole lot. You'll say the one word.
Dan, now let him talk.
You want to know what the one word is? Petition. Petition, petition, petition. He ripped it up. The guy is So far gone, so far lost. I don't care how many exorcist movies you want to do on this guy. He is the devil himself, okay? And he's appeared in a Catholic St. Joe's Park. We got to get rid of this guy. I say no co-GM. Get rid of him. Let's bring in a single GM. How you doing?
I would have to agree with you, Tony. Like, sure, standing room only, 11 shows or whatever it was, but also the past few shows, where has it been? Is it really him that's responsible for the standing room shows? I don't think so. Sure, has he booked some good matches? Absolutely. But it was the matches that made them standing room only and brought people in there. The talent, the boys in the back who show up, show out, and burn the house down every single month at St. Joe's Park. I think there is somebody needed to be brought in because we've just went over this whole entire match card. Every single member of the Undeniable is booked in a match with an opportunity for a title. Some of them have barely even been around, and do they even deserve an opportunity for a title? When you got people who show up every single month, who have put in the work all across the Chicago and Midwest scene, trying to better themselves, getting booked everywhere, where Damian is just booking whoever he wants, his buddies, his yes men, into different opportunities. That doesn't sit right with me. I'm glad that the Shelley sees that. And Dan, let me talk. I'm glad that Shelley sees this as an opportunity to build potentially on some of whatever good work he has done, but somebody needs to put some checks and balances in place to counter him and get this stuff back in order. We need to show more talent that has deserved it and has earned it and has put in the work to do it back on these shows. And then we can be at standing room only shows. And it's because of the talent, the boys in the back, the people who show up to defend fans like PX, to defend the LIM and the rest of the Rocket Pro universe in these shows, and that's who deserves all of this. And Damian Saint has been on a tirade for too long and left unchecked for too long. He needs his comeuppance. Pat, you look like you've had some things to say.
I'm just listening to what you guys had to say. It sounded like
Here's the
Andy
thing,
had something to
Pac-Man,
say.
Pac-Man, you're a bit of a political scientist, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm something of a political scientist.
So you
myself.
know a thing or two about checks and balances, don't you?
I do.
So you could balance your checkbook? That's what you're telling me?
No, I just used the app.
Okay, well, let's move past that. Here's what I want to say. You've been awful quiet, and I know why you're quiet, because you're the one. Go to your closet right now. Go ahead. Go take a walk. I know it's in the next room over. Go get your Damian Saint shirt and put it on, you little fanboy. That's why you were in a match. He's got to go, all right? Double J made a good point. You took a spot from somebody else, and I'm not – you put on a hell of a match. I love watching you in that ring. Hey, you shut up while I'm talking.
Back
Danny,
off, dude.
I listened to your mixtape.
Damian
yeah, I did. So let me finish. Here's what I'm saying. Pac-Man, you took the spot of somebody else who's been training, putting in the hours. I know you didn't have a choice. You had to do what you had to do, and we're proud of you for it. But just think about it. You were untrained. This man above me, this grinning little prick, he could have led to your demise, right? They could have tore you limb from limb in that ring.
Yeah.
And you want to wear his shirt? You want to buy his merchandise? Are you crazy?
Mr. 1-0, you got lucky. Hold on, Dan. I'm talking. I'm the co-host of this show.
I'm also the co-host. I want my brother to talk.
Yeah, you know what? I want my co-host spot back. You're done, PX. It's me and Double J now. Danny, I listened to your mixtape. I think you need to get a better microphone. Take it out of your ass for once, okay, pal?
Hold on, let me turn it down. Gabagool, get bent. Anyway, Damian Saint, he's done a whole lot. Come on, why are you bashing the guy?
What has he done other than book his friends into title opportunities?
He's given opportunities to Pat.
That shouldn't have been in the first place. He let one of the wrestlers attack a fan, and nothing was done. No discipline, no suspensions, nothing. He let it go on and continue. And then what is his answer? He puts him in a match where he could be seriously injured? Pat had no business being in that ring.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
Hey, Danny, shut
Pat
the fuck up.
doesn't deserve to be in that ring.
No,
you're done. Let me talk. Double J, he put Pac-Man in the match because he knew if anybody else showed up, okay, He didn't have faith in Pac-Man, as would anybody, right? It's an untrained mark, for Christ's sakes. He put him in the match because he wanted the idols to go over. He wanted to stomp out C-Red, get rid of Johnny the Redeemer. So what does he do? He puts a fan who's untrained in the match. This guy's the devil. Get him out of here.
I think he put Pat in the match to get in the heads of the idols.
No, he put Pat in the match to be a pawn.
Exactly.
He used him as a pawn. There are so many other people that were much better fit and had beef with the idols that could have been placed in that match. So many other wrestlers, both at Rocket Pro and some who deserve to be at Rocket Pro, should have been placed in this as an opportunity. Pat did not need to be there. Damian Saint doesn't know. He's thinking 10 steps ahead and he's trying to do something. He's trying to play chess while we're all playing checkers, whatever it is. But something needs to happen. Nothing is going to happen until we get a co-GM in place to put some checks and balances and start
Put
getting
a guy like Rion Skills as the co-GM. Am I right?
Why would you put Rion? He's not even a champion anymore.
You don't need to be a champion to be a GM. How many belts has this buffoon held? All right. Listen, you put Rion Skills in there. He's a dinosaur. He's a draw. I talked about it earlier. Jurassic Park. It's a booming business. Who else can they fill those shoes? These are big shoes to fill. All right. But this guy, he's got to go. I don't care who you put in there. He's got to go. He ripped up my petition, all my hard work. I got
that was
so many
well
signatures
deserved. That was so well deserved.
You
Turtle
don't
doesn't
even know what's
deserve-
going on anymore.
Turtle-
You barely
Turtle
even
doesn't
show up to
deserve
shows.
to be an RP. I got other things I'm doing.
What's
Anyway.
more important than going to the place that has made us a name, a household staple in the wrestling industry right now?
Pay
You've got
my
other
bills.
Okay, pay your bills. Sure, I've taken off work. Gabagool has taken off work. Pat has taken off work. It's called PTO, baby. Go to your HR department. Talk to them. Take a break. Learn. You earned your vacation time.
You know,
You've
Double
got
J.
stuff to do.
Double J. I'm so glad you're not the HR department of the LIM. All right, because you're not listening.
Yeah, if I was, I would fire you so fast.
Oh well, do it.
You know, hey Danny.
You know
quit
what?
Talking. You know
I'll
who
do it
does?
myself.
You know, our HR specialist here in the LIM, that little prick wears a Damian Saint shirt. He gave money to this devil. Yeah, I'm talking about you, PX, Mr. 1-0. Okay, I would stomp you into the tree stump, pal. You bought a Damian Saint
Over
shirt.
my
I'll never
dead
let that
body,
down.
Gabagool. Gabagool,
Go ahead,
I'll
Pat.
put you 6
Pat.
feet under. I
Hey,
will
Pat.
put you 6
Pat.
feet under.
All right, String
You'll
B,
be
let's-
sleeping. You'll be sleeping with the fishes, Gabagool. And
Well, no, he
Double
won't, 'cause
J,
Tony
Double
knows how
J,
to
the only
swim.
thing that'll be hot
you know
is
what?
the incinerator to get your ashes.
Hey, Pat, you know what? Go ahead and delete me off of Facebook because I'm done with this. You wear a Damian Saint shirt. You are one of his pawns. You and Main Event Steve, all right? You've been hanging out with those Power Hour guys. You changed. The second you joined JFW, the second you joined Power Hour, you were no longer my Facebook friend. I can't with this.
All right, there's been a lot of things shared. Pat, Mr. Neutrality, Mr. Doesn't take sides. You
Mr.
clearly need to take
Switzerland.
a side right now. Come on,
Come on,
Switzerland.
Switzerland.
Something to be said right now. This has gone off the rails. Hey, where are you going? Hey, what are you doing? Put your head. What is this? He just walking out on this?
Just walking away from his Facebook friends again.
Walking away from his brother.
Our alleged leader.
I wish I could
Just-
get in his time machine and turn back time.
All right,
to
all right.
before
This
he
is
joined.
it. This-
Double
that's
J,
it.
don't cut me off. I get the last word on this podcast.
No,
don't
you
forget,
don't.
I'm
You're not the
co-host.
You're not a co-host as of right now.
No,
I
am.
am the co-host. I am the main host because our other co-host just walked off. It's time to close the tab on this episode. This has been. I just got one thing to say, and I think you know what I need to say, Tony. So if you're gonna say it with me, because Dan has also left.
I don't want to say anything. I want to go back onto Facebook and delete Pat off my friends list.
All right, we could do
Hey,
that, but we
Siri,
have one. We need to say something. You know what
yeah,
we
here's
gotta
what
say.
I'm gonna say. I'll say it. I'll say it for everybody. Hey Siri, do a Facebook deletion of Pac-Man. Thank you.
All right, Tony, are you gonna help me close the tab on this episode and with our signature sign off?
Well, Double
Or-
J. I mean, this is going on too long.
Yeah, this has been way too long.
I can't.
Tony, come on, come back. All right. Well, everybody, I guess it's time to close the tab on this episode of the Lovely Intoxicated Podcast. As there's only one thing really that's left to say, and that's Shut up, Santino.